Hi everybody, this is Amy from Irigenics, Ancestral Eye Reading, and today I'm creating this video for you on behalf of One Mindful Planet, and we're going to be talking about what motivates you. What motivational rings may have been present in your eyes when you were first born, or certainly by the time your color developed, which can be up to about 9 months. They say that final color can take up to age 3, and there's a whole lot to be learned about color or for me to share with you about color, but that'll be in different videos than today's. But what I do want to start with is how are you going to look at your own eyes? And so as you can see, it's really hard to see the full eye just looking across the table. So here I am looking at you with my blue eye and here with my brown eye. And we'll take a closer look at those in just a moment. But first, I want to take you over to a few slides of some great examples of some of the rings that we're born with and that appear when we are first born in our eyes. So give me just a moment and we're going to switch on over. So the first ring that I'm going to start with of the 3 is what's called the achievement rings. And they actually appear a little bit like scratch marks, or not to be offensive, but they look a little like stretch marks, like your eyes have stretched. Now the eyes are the one thing in our body that's full size when we're born. Everything else comes in baby size, but the eyes are actually full size. And so most things in the eyes don't really change very much. There's a few indicators that do, but these achievement rings are not one of them. These are here when you're born, or they're not. And most people, at least that I read, which is primarily Americans, sometimes people of more British descent, sometimes of Asian descent, African American descent, but primarily people who are living in the States or are expats. They've maybe been here just for a short time from another country. And most people do have these achievement rings. Now, the main thing about the achievement rings, this is that internal to-do list that I have to, I need to, I'm supposed to, I should, I ought to do this, I need to do that. Now, what you want to keep in mind about that is, do you hear how much guilt is in there? So when you make a to-do list, and these people excel at to-do lists, this is where they sing. Give them a to-do list and they check things off 1, 2, 3. And it's really where this gift is truly a gift, is when you actually use a to-do list. Now, when you don't use the to-do list, you can get a little bit overwhelmed because your head has this constant running to-do list. And the thing is, these are things we may never get done. For example, I should go to the gym. I need to call my mom. I ought to go on a diet. I should cut carbs. I should cut proteins. I should cut fat. Whatever the case is, these rings as a motivator will push, push, push. I need to do this. I've got to do that. I'm supposed to do this. I ought to do that. So really the best thing for people with these rings is to work with a to-do list. The things they're truly going to get done, to put them on a to-do list and check them off one by one. Use an app, something where you can schedule things out a week or a month. So if you're not going to call your mom till Tuesday, don't be thinking about it in your head until Tuesday. Put it on your app, put it on your paper list, and let it go until Tuesday. Again, a beautiful gift that just tells us we have to perform a bit. We have to push it up. And this would come from ancestors who had that experience. You know, when people first came to America, it was quite competitive. If you were a carpenter, you better be the best carpenter, or the carpenter who worked the longest hours, or who charged the least rate. You had to be self-motivated. And when I find these rings, typically these run in family lines. Now, I did want to show you also, this is obviously in a brown eye. I wanted to show you how that appears when it's in a very dark brown eye. So you see here, you also see these crease marks. They look a little bit like terracing. Sometimes they look like scratch marks, as they did in the first image. The reason for that is there's 7 layers to the eye color structure. And so when we're looking at the eyes and we see markings like this, or let's come back here where it looks almost like the surface has been scratched. This is because in the 7 layers, we're just going down 1 or 2 layers. And so what we're looking at, and you'll get a good chance to see this a little bit later in our slideshow, is we're looking down into the depths of the eyes. We're looking into how long maybe a pattern has been around, maybe how many generations this has been experienced. And so that is the rings of achievement. Again, people who are great at achieving, as long as they're using a to-do list. Otherwise, they can have some trouble with focusing because they're jumping from one guilty to-do thing to another. So clearing the mind and using a to-do list is a great tool for people with this marking. The next one we're going to talk about is the compassion ring. Now, the compassion ring is also known as a harmony ring, and it shows up as these little white dots going around primarily the outer edge of the eye. Now, there's a couple of things about this. If a person took the Clifton Strengths Finder 2.0 skills assessment test, it would say that compassion or harmony is one of their top skills. Now, as a skill, what's important to know is this gift gives you the ability to feel other people. It gives you a sense of harmony that is not just that you want harmony in your environment, you just want everyone to get along, right? So while the achievers have this have to, need to, supposed to, should, the compassion people have this why can't everyone just get along? I just want everybody to be happy. I was just trying to help. Well, I could talk to my aunt, but I can't do that because maybe I'll upset her. You'll find a lot of people will stick a codependent label on this right away. They'll say, these are the codependent people. These are the enablers. To some extent, that's probably true. I don't see this ring nearly as much as the achievement ring. The achievement ring, I probably see in over 90% of the people I read. The compassion ring, I maybe see in about 30% of the people that I read or where I'm making a mapping of their eye. Now, in the compassion ring, though, this is not just a harmony amongst people. This is also a harmony in color. These are people who can just feel, physically feel when something is off, and they can't put their finger on it, but they've got this intuition that says, it just doesn't feel right. I'll know it when it's right. So in art, these people are fabulous at nonverbal communication, right? Things like forming pottery into, or forming clay into pottery, working with animals, working with plants, working with babies, autistic children. The nonverbal communication realm is really their world. They're very much sensors. They very much pick up information. But this is the second baby that cries in church, right? One baby's sad and they cry. This is the second baby because they literally physically feel other people. So for these people, it's exceedingly important that they learn to identify what's mine and what's not mine. So they go into the mall and they start to pick up a headache. Is this my headache? If the answer is no, it's no. There's not another choice. Mine, not mine. And if it's not yours, have your angels, your guides, whatever, send that energy back to origin with love and light and well blessing. You don't want to spend the day thinking about, where did this come from? Where am I getting this headache? Is this my sister? Is this my grandma? Is this that man over there? You don't want to be running around trying to fix everyone. You simply stay focused on yourself, breathe, and lovingly let go of the energy that's helped you pick up this essence from somebody else. Our third ring, and the one I see the least, is the focus ring. Now, you don't typically see a focus and achievement ring together, but I have seen it. So this is not dark. This is deep. This is the deepest layer of the eye color. And as you see, these whitish fibers, these neurogenic fibers that are going across the top, they are stopping just short of the edge. And these are people who are incredible at pulling inside and focusing, meditating. These people can shut the world out. I have yet to see this in an extroverted person's eye. This is typically something that comes with someone more introverted. The focus ring are people who feel like they came to this world to do something. If they could just figure out what it is, if they could just remember what it was they came to this planet to do, what they came into this life to do. And really, this is just a sense of having a mission. What a beautiful gift, right? Their motivator is seeking that mission. Whatever do good, invent, create, fix, repair, whatever that looks like, that's what they're after. What did I come into this life to do? What did I come into this life to become? And oftentimes when I'm working with these people, it's a little bit later in life. It's not when they're, young children. And what we find is it's really just the seeking. It's all the steps of the seeking that they've done throughout their lives that is really the great gift of the motivation of focus. And again, if they took that Clifton Strengths Finder 2.0 skills assessment, focus would come up as one of their top gifts. And in this eye, you can see there is a bit of that compassion ring as well, though it's not one that's completely encircling the eye. And I have one more example of a bit of a focus ring, but also you see the achievement rings here, yes? And again, remember how we talked about depth, and you can kind of see some of these crease lines and how there's a little bit of depth, D-E-P-T-H, to them. And as you see this darkish ring around the edge, this is just to the outer side of this eye, and this is their left eye. And the thing is, what you're seeing here really is someone who's pulling in from their environment. They're in an environment that's frenetic or chaotic, and they're having a little bit of trouble handling that energy. This is a fairly introverted person, and they are quite sensitive, meaning they physically feel. A lot of their intuition is through physical sensing and physical feeling. They also have the achievement rings here, looking a bit like terracing or like crease lines. And what you want to know again about those achievement rings is if you took that Clifton StrengthsFinder 2.0 out of your top 35 skills and gifts, one of your top 5 vocational gifts would be achievement. And this eye may not come up as focus being a top gift because this is not a full focus ring. This is just a pulling in from other people. So I promised that I would talk a little bit about how to do your own eye photos so that you can take a look at your own eyes. Mm-hmm. So these are my brown and my blue. I'll pull these up just briefly. This is my blue eye. This is my brown looking back at us. And this is with a front lit camera. So meaning the lighting was in front of me on the flash. And so what happens is you don't get to see that true depth of these openings in the eyes, but you can certainly see all the markings, you can see the color, and you can see those achievement rings a little bit over here in my brown eye. You can barely see them here in my blue eye, a tiny bit of color variation here, and of course I have fairly strong heterochromia or distinctive heterochromia, not only that I have 2 different colored eyes, but that I have this upper area that is a different color. And so this is with front lighting. This is with the light in front of you. Now you should never shine a flashlight in your eye, a light bulb, as much as you can keep flash out of your eyes, best idea. This is what's called a side lit photo. This is also my blue eye. You see the difference between here and here. Now the thing about this side lighting on this blue eye, or on my blue eye, is now you're starting to see the depth, the openings down into these fiber separations. And you can really, if you couldn't see the achievement rings before, you can see there are the achievement scratch lines up here, here, here. So the reason I'm showing this to you is because I want you to realize that the quality of your picture is what's really going to say the most about your eyes. And so you really want to get a sharp picture. And a friend can take that. There is a video on my website, but I do want to show you one more option before we go there. So this was taken, this is my left eye. This was taken with a mag light brought from behind my ear, next to my ear, up to my cheekbone, shining across the eye. It is not shining in the pupil at all. It's shining across, which is what's allowing us to see the layers. When we come here to the brown, now you can really see the layers. Now this was not side lit, which is why you don't really see a flash lighting like you have here or like you have here. This was actually taken in a car with all the bright outside light streaming through the windows. That's one of the best ways to get a photo. Now I was sitting in the back seat behind the headrest with the person taking my picture from the front seat. And the reason we did it that way is had I been in the front, you would have seen the reflection of everything outside of the car in my eye, and you wouldn't have seen the eye at all. So with that, let me bring you back to my website, to Irigenics.com. And if you start here at the top, when you come down this center column under Work With Me, you will find some gold print here. This is how to take an awesome eye photo. And that will guide you over to my YouTube channel where there's a video on how to take your own eye photo. It's really probably easiest to have a friend do it. All you need is a mag light and a camera that's good quality. And you should be able to, at least on the screen, have high enough resolution to really get a good look at your eye and see some of the amazing details that are in there. And feel free to poke around while you're in my YouTube channel. And in the meantime, thank you so much to One Mindful Planet. I love the gift you are bringing to our world of new mindful experiences, including Irigenics Ancestral Eye Reading. Thanks so much. Namaste.